despite nobody really understanding what it is or how it works. And that's why today we're going to do a deep dive into Bittensor and reveal just how much potential its TAO coin could have. This is a video you can't miss. I'll start by saying that nothing in this video is financial advice. It's purely educational content intended to inform you about Bittensor. And I'll also note that some members of the Coin Bureau team do hold TAO as part of their personal crypto portfolios, but this won't affect our objectivity in any way. It should go without saying.
Welcome on in to another episode of the Blue Chip Crypto 3. Now we're going to present TAO. We're going to present that to you guys because this is an AI crypto that I believe that will skyrocket in 2025. This is an AI crypto that I believe is going to skyrocket in 2025, but I wanted to bring you guys the research, not financial advice, but I will have this on my ledger and or trading it actively. How about that? Now let's continue.
If you want to see the cryptos we hold and which ones we're considering accumulating, then join the Coin Bureau Club. Our members not only get access to our portfolios and watch lists, but also weekly reviews of small cap cryptos which they vote for, daily market analysis, and real-time altcoin alpha in our members' Discord. You can learn more about the Coin Bureau Club using the link in the description. With all that said, the history of Bittensor begins with Jacob Robert Steves. In a September 2022 interview, Jacob revealed that prior to Bittensor, he worked for DARPA and then Google. For context, DARPA stands for Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, a research arm of the US military. Things get interesting because Jacob noted in an October 2023 interview that, quote, "we had been working on Bittensor since 2015. For reference, Bittensor has two co-founders, the first being Jacob and the second being Ala Shabana, an AI researcher who didn't join Bittensor until 2019. This suggests the we Jacob was referring to is DARPA.
Now, I believe that AI is going to be a big part of this technological leap, and it's some form of intelligence. Intelligent is actually intelligent to me. So we can drop the A and just call it intelligent because there's nothing artificial about it. This is real live intelligence at its purest form. And we're going to be able to benefit off of this. But the research that I've did and I read the white paper, this is a spectacular project. It has to be part of the Blue Chip Crypto Club. It has to be part of the Blue Chip Crypto Club. Let's go.
DARPA, specifically NOM Inc. or GNOME Inc., the advanced computing company he was working for in 2015 that was contracted by DARPA. In other words, Bittensor was originally created with the help of the US military, or at least with financing from the US military. And that's not the only interesting thing either. In one of the only two videos on Bittensor's YouTube channel, Jacob revealed that they had, quote, raised some cash and hired some devs to build the project. For reference, Bittensor claims to have had a fair launch of its TAO coin, meaning no early investors or VCs. To be fair, there is a bit of nuance here. In the only other video on Bittensor's YouTube channel, Jacob revealed that the Open Tensor Foundation, which is a Canadian organization apparently founded in 2021, was funded by TAO coins sold OTC by early miners, namely Jacob and Ala. And this suggests that while there was technically no pre-sale of TAO coins, Bittensor's founders committed to selling some of their coins to investors prior to launching. To put things into perspective, Jacob made these comments in January 20.
Now let's read. Tokenomics supply. And tokenomics is going to be a big part of the future. Anytime you see the word tokenomics, everything can be tokenized, right? You actually get to create your own currency for the first time in history due to technology. Remember I said that. You actually get to create your own currency due to technology where we're currently at. That's a leap. So you have no venture capital, so no VCs, no initial coin offering, no ICOs, no initial exchange offering, no IEO, no initial DEX offering, no IDO, no private sales, no team foundation advised allegation, same emission schedule tokenized as Bitcoin, and fair distribution since day one. That sounds like Dog runes. It sounds like dog runes. It sounds like this can actually blow. Let's go.
2023. And Bittensor's mainnet and TAO coin didn't launch until March 2023. But wait, it gets even more interesting. In April this year, Fortune magazine published an article revealing the details of who had been investing in TAO. The largest investors were Polychain Capital, Digital Currency Group, and DAO5, a VC with ties to Polychain. All invested an unknown amount in TAO prior to launch. Notably, Polychain invested in Bittensor as early as 2019, which suggests that this is actually when the crypto project began. And as a reward for being early, Polychain was allocated $200 million worth of TAO at its April prices. A DCG and DAO5 got $100 million and $50 million worth of TAO, respectively. As it so happens, TAO's price in April was roughly what it is now, around $600. With $300 million allocated to VCs, this works out to just under 600,000 TAO coins. That's roughly 7% of TAO's circulating supply of around 7.4 million, and almost 3% of its total supply of 21 million. Even more notably, it's unclear what the vesting schedule for TAO is. What is clear is that this vesting, if it exists, may not be enforceable, as Bittensor doesn't have smart contracts, at least not yet. The upcoming introduction of EVM-style smart contracts seems to have been the catalyst behind TAO's recent rally. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to smash that like button to let us know, and subscribe to the channel and ping the notification bell as well so you don't miss our next altcoin update. But back to the DARPA connection. In that October 2023 interview, Jacob explained that they, presumably Gnome Inc., were looking to see how they could bring more computing power to artificial intelligence. And after looking at how Bitcoin leveraged computing power, they came up with Bittensor. For those unaware, many Bitcoin miners have started providing AI computation for additional revenue. To be clear, the application-specific integrated circuits, or ASICs, used to mine BTC cannot be used to power AI, as AI uses its own ASICs. But Bitcoin miners have the infrastructure to support AI ASICs. So this begs the question of what exactly Bittensor is and how it works. The short answer is that it provides decentralized computing for AI use cases. Each AI use case has its own network called a subnet. Miners provide the computation, and validators ensure that each subnet has sufficient miner computation. The long answer is where things get interesting again. For starters, the Bittensor blockchain was built using Substrate, the same developer framework used to build Polkadot and its parachains. In fact, Bittensor was originally going to become a parachain, but seems to have abandoned those plans back in 2023. In any case, if you've watched any of our videos about Polkadot, you'll know that most of its parachains appear to have been built by teams based in China. And Bittensor's use of Substrate and its original intention to become a parachain therefore suggests that it may have a strong community offshore. What makes Bittensor different from other Substrate-based blockchains is that it uses a novel consensus mechanism called UMA consensus. It's named after Yuma Rao, the pseudonymous author of the Bittensor white paper, whose actual authors were probably affiliated with DARPA in some way. Regardless, UMA consensus is used by validators to determine the TAO rewards that each subnet gets based on miner performance. There are currently 52 active subnets on Bittensor. The most important one is the root subnet, and this actually decides how much of TAO's emissions the other subnets get. Now, here's where things get a bit confusing. There doesn't seem to be a limit on the number of subnets Bittensor can support. However, there does seem to be a limit on the number of validators and miners each subnet can have. The confusing thing is that the limit seems to vary depending on the subnet.
Now, that right there is unique. That right there is extremely unique.
Whatever the case, the cost of registering a subnet is currently just over 1,000 TAO, which is roughly $600,000. Bittensor's documentation notes that there's a limit of 64 validators and/or miners per subnet, and validators need to stake enough TAO to be in the top 64. But again, limits here seem to vary. It's also possible to delegate, or rather nominate, with as little as 0.1 tau to earn a yield as high as 18% per year. There doesn't seem to be any lockup or unlock for staked tau, and there doesn't seem to be any validator slashing either. Interestingly, the only slashing involves lowering the subnet's rewards. Naturally, the most important subnets earn the highest portion of tau emissions, with validators and miners on the root network earning the highest share of around 11.6%. And that's not yield, but the new tau minted in each block. Subnet use cases vary from text prompts to image generation, the standard stuff. According to the Bittensor wiki, there are currently just 5 apps leveraging Bittensor's technology, and only 3 of them seem to work. As you might expect, 2 of these involve text prompts like ChatGPT. What you might not expect is that they're free to use, so where's the revenue? What's funny is that Jacob was asked about Bittensor's demand metrics in June 2023. He couldn't provide any data and even pointed to the coin's price as a proxy. To be fair, this was a year and a half ago, but even detailed Bittensor explorers like Tau Stats still don't show things like apps and active users. Well, the Bittensor browser extension only has 30,000 downloads, and the only thing you can currently do is delegate to earn rewards, which are being derived from Bittensor's elusive subnets. Hopefully, the introduction of EVM-style smart contracts will increase the utility of the subnets. But back to the Tau coin. By now, you'll know that Tau is the native crypto coin of Bittensor's blockchain. Besides staking, it's used to pay for fees and will be used for governance. Per Bittensor's documentation, the blockchain is currently governed by the Open Tensor Foundation and, of course, the biggest Tau stakers. Tau's allocation is where things get interesting yet again. Officially, Tau was fairly launched, but even the official story seems to have a bit of nuance. According to Tau Stats tokenomics page, Bittensor's mainnet first launched in January 2021, but it experienced a technical issue in May 2021 that shut it down. In this first period, around 550,000 Tau were mined, and these coins were migrated to the second launch of the blockchain in November 2021. The final mainnet launch happened in March 2023, and this 550k figure is consistent with the roughly 600k Tau that was sold to early investors, but it could be a coincidence. Anyways, even though it will take something like over 100 years for all 21 million Tau coins to be mined, Tau's effective inflation rate is aggressive in its early years. Per a 2023 blog post, 7,200 Tau will be mined every day until the first halving, which occurs in November 2025. That's 2.6 million Tau per year. But never mind the year. If you run the maths, that works out to over $4.3 million of Tau being mined every day. Given this enormous supply-side pressure, you'd think that Tau's price would be in the toilet, especially when you remember that Bittensor doesn't seem to have any obvious demand drivers. So, in addition to the possibility that AI developers and researchers are leveraging Bittensor's subnets for whatever AI stuff they're doing, the reason why Tau's price has been so resilient seems to be because of speculation. And the shockingly low level of social metrics like followers suggests it's not retail speculation either. And that leaves institutional speculation. And our research suggests that this could in fact be the primary driver behind Tau's price action. We came across multiple interviews of crypto VCs explaining why they were going all in on Tau. Their reasoning wasn't very convincing, but they seemed to be buying regardless. We suspect this institutional FOMO is a combination.
The technology is an awesome technology. It's a great technology. I did my research. It is a great technology, and it's needed for the space. If ChatGPT is using it, and you can use it and build on top of it, what does that mean? Leave your thoughts down below.
Combination of 3 factors. The first is the fact that Bittensor seems to have been originally developed by entities funded by the US military, so the tech, it must be very good.
Ding, ding, ding,
The second
ding, ding.
is the fact that AI is going to be big, and it's hard to find good AI deals in TradFi as a result. The third reason could be the biggest factor, though,
Whoa,
and that's the fact.
whoa, whoa. Look at the evaluation on it. Look at
Very
the
good.
evaluation.
The second is the fact that
OpenAI is talks to raise funds of over $100 billion in valuation reports. Private documents shows OpenAI stockholders are planning to sell shares at a price that would value the firm of $103 billion. Any new investments will see the AI startup at value even higher. My God.
that AI is going to be big, and it's hard to find good AI deals in TradFi as a result. The third reason could be the biggest factor, though, and that's the fact that Bittensor is eerily similar to Bitcoin in its origin, ethos, and mining focus. Oddly enough, Jacob claimed in an October 2023 interview that he's a Bitcoin maximalist. And this is where things get truly interesting, but also somewhat speculative. Basically, it's possible that Bittensor exists in part to support the Bitcoin mining industry. Consider that miner profits have been falling since the halving. Although there will be big profits to be made during the bull market, the next bear market will be absolutely brutal for miners. And of course, there will be another halving. What this means is that Bitcoin miners are going to need additional revenue sources to keep them afloat. We've already seen some large publicly traded Bitcoin miners like Marathon Digital mining smaller proof of work cryptos to that end. And I'll remind you that some Bitcoin miners are getting into AI ASICs too. When you step back, it really does start to look like Bittensor's partial or even primary purpose is to support the Bitcoin mining industry, regardless of broader crypto market conditions. During the bull market, they'll make huge gains from mining TAO, $4.3 million per day. It's a pretty penny. And during the bear market, it's likely that demand for AI computing power will remain high. And this means that mining TAO will probably continue to be very profitable. And it would therefore provide a lifeline to all the Bitcoin miners mining BTC at a loss until the next crypto bull market comes around. This purpose, if true, would explain most of the anomalies crypto analysts like us see in Bittensor. Anyway, speculation aside, the narrative of AI Bitcoin seems to be a strong one, even for retail investors. As such, it's possible that TAO could see sizable gains of up to 10 times or more, despite having such a large market cap and a rapidly growing supply.
So that's a 10x. That's a 10x. That number times 10. You can't beat it. Not financial advice, but you can't beat it.
And this would likely require listing on US exchanges, however. In the shorter term, TAO looks like it's been painting a cup and handle pattern that could take its price as high as $1,000 by the end of the year. And if you want to maximize those potential gains, then check out the Coin Bureau deals page. It's got trading fee discounts of up to 70% and sign-up bonuses of up to $100,000.
Yeah.
You see, these deals, they won't be around for long. So check them out ASAP using the link in the description. Now, whether TAO could hit $1,000 by the end of the year fundamentally depends on its upcoming milestones. The first milestone is one I've been mentioning throughout the entire video, and that's the introduction of EVM-style smart contracts. It looks like these will be implemented by the end of 2024. Based on what we heard in the Open Tensor Foundation's September community call, it sounds like the reason why they're introducing smart contracts is twofold. The first reason is that it will make subnets more useful, which hopefully means that they'll have front ends that actually generate revenue. The second reason is a bit surprising, and that's that it will make it possible for capital to flow to Bittensor from other EVM chains. And this is surprising because it foreshadows stuff like DeFi. Back in March, Jason noted in a community call that he didn't want this kind of Ponzi stuff to end up on Bittensor. And this ties into the second upcoming milestone for Bittensor, which is child hotkeys. And these can be simply understood as tokens for each individual.
Now, child hotkeys. Let's read what that's about. This child hotkeys is a new Bittensor feature. With this feature, a hotkey can delegate a portion of all of its stake tier to one or more hotkeys. The hotkeys that is the source of the stake is called a parent hotkey, and then the hotkey that receives the stake is called a child hotkey. Okay. There can be more than one child hotkey for a parent hotkey, similar to a child hotkey that can have more than one parent hotkey. That makes sense.
Individual subnet. The reasoning behind this is that it will make it possible to allocate TAO emissions to subnets based on the value of their tokens, theoretically aligning incentives. In practice, though, this could result in exactly the kind of speculation that the Bittensor team seems to want to avoid. This would explain why Jason mentioned something along the lines of making it possible to only cash in and out of these subnet tokens using TAO in that September community call. And that reminds me, in an October interview, one of the many VCs that's been aping into TAO revealed that one of Bittensor's most successful subnets had already migrated away. And this suggests that the real reason for introducing the subnet token standard is to incentivize successful subnets to stay and not leave. And this relates to the third upcoming milestone, and that's to fully decentralize the project. This has been in the works for at least a year, since Arla mentioned in an interview last December that the goal was to introduce on-chain governance and effectively dissolve the Open Tensor Foundation. And this was supposed to happen by the end of the year, but it looks like the other two milestones have taken a bit of a precedent. Or more accurately, the other two milestones likely involve lots of coordination that can only effectively be handled by somewhat centralized clusters of individuals and institutions. Of course, the reason why Bittensor wants to decentralize is likely because its investors want TAO to list on US exchanges. Case in point, the Bittensor team was asked point blank as to whether they had consulted with lawyers about if TAO would be classified as an unregistered security in the US. They revealed that, yes, they had been in discussions with lawyers and that, unfortunately, TAO was still not decentralized enough to be considered a commodity. Jason agreed, and that the goal is to decentralize enough to check that box. But again, it will be hard to do that given Bittensor's ongoing technical development. And this brings me to the challenges that we foresee for Bittensor. The first challenge is communication. Bittensor is one of those crypto projects that's so complex that when you hear about it or read about it, you think you're being fed a bunch of philosophical AI BS that's meant to make you think it's legit. It doesn't help that even Bittensor's own founders have had a hard time explaining what Bittensor is and how it works, much less showcasing its capabilities. For example, Jacob was asked to demo Bittensor's image generation capabilities in an October 2023 interview. All he did was present an AI-generated image that had been posted to X. He didn't actually provide a walkthrough of how to generate these AI images using Bittensor's subnets. And this ties into Bittensor's second challenge, and that's adoption. Name a single app or dApp built on Bittensor. You can't. And that's a problem for a crypto with a market cap of over $5 billion. This could be yet another reason as to why Bittensor has decided to add EVM support, then it will have actual utility. In all seriousness, it's unclear what utility Bittensor actually provides. And this was underscored by crypto analyst Eric Wall in a viral X post about Bittensor. The TLDR is that it's extremely difficult for regular people to use, and the use cases it does provide aren't very useful. And this needs to be addressed for TAO to keep on rallying. This relates to Bittensor's third challenge, and that's its insane tokenomics. 7,200 TAO per day is just mind-blowing, and it doesn't help that early investors hold almost 600,000 TAO that they could potentially dump at any time. The fact that they haven't already is remarkable, given that they're probably up bigly. But the fact that TAO has continued rallying despite having Venezuelan levels of inflation highlights the fact that Bittensor seems to be much bigger than meets the eye. Beneath all the unnecessarily complex AI jargon, there seems to be something valuable that institutional investors are aping into. Even so, this doesn't change the fact that TAO is already very big and will have a harder time pumping relative to other cryptos.
Now, let's add 25. So if we have, let's just say, $8 to $10 trillion entering in the market, right? That should boost it at least to the top 10, at least, based on its use case, at least.
Either way, it's safe to say it's going to be very interesting to see how Bittensor evolves in the coming months and years. Rest assured, we'll be keeping a close eye on TAO and we'll update you again when the time is right.
All right, leave your thoughts, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this AI technology. Let me know what you think about this AI technology. It's already been used. It's already being used in ChatGPT. So leave your thoughts down below. Blue Chip Crypto 3, thank you. And I appreciate everyone.